Hi everybody, welcome back. Okay, so we're at week 10 and I have got some progress to update. This is fantastic. First of all, Leo tried something new willingly. That is huge, very huge. He saw me making his protein shake and we hadn't gone to the grocery store yet, so I didn't have any bananas to put in it, and the only thing I had was blueberries, right? And so I stuck the blueberries in the blender, and he was watching as the blender was chopping up the blueberries, and you could see on his face that he was just like, you know, it was something he hadn't seen before. And so as soon as I was done blending it, I poured it into his cup, and he just stared at it like it had the plague, you know. I didn't know if he was going to drink it, and I wouldn't have blamed him if he hadn't, because it was foreign to him. So I set the cup down, and I told him, take a drink, and then I walked away. Well, a few minutes later, he comes walking in the room with his cup, and it was half gone, and he was sucking it dry. So he, from Leo's standpoint, he was trying something he had never tried before. And that is huge, because it has been at least 3 years since that has happened. So it was a big deal, very big deal. Another thing that is new, that has just occurred in the last few days, is that Leo is now taking a bribe. And it is amazing, because before you couldn't negotiate with Leo. You couldn't negotiate, right? I told him, okay, first you have to have this, then you can do this, you know, or first you can do this, then you can do that. That would go right over Leo's head, right over his head. He wanted, you know, he would want to go outside, okay, and he likes to bug me about putting his shoes on. And I had to tell him, you know, no, because it was early and I wasn't quite ready for that. And so it came time to give him his drops. And he's not a fan. He still doesn't like the drops. He does take them, and it's not a big fight, but you can tell he doesn't care for them. Anyway, so we showed him the syringe, and we said, well, you take the drops, then we'll put our shoes on. And he did. He just opened his mouth, and he closed his mouth over the syringe, and he drank it. He swallowed it without a problem. My mouth dropped. That's the first time any kind of negotiation has ever been made with Leo. So he's starting to understand English. That's a big deal, a huge deal. Okay, so that is the first sign of progress that we have seen, other than the change in diet being a huge factor. So this is good. This is really, really, really good. All right, so around the same time that these changes have happened, we got our, you know, third batch of remedies from the homeopath. And this month, I mean, you'll see on the blog what the goal is for the clear this month, but she's clearing out the rest of the cold medications, and she's targeting the anesthesia that he had when he had his endoscopy. The peak of the clear might show some emotional outbreak, because that was a very traumatic thing for him. He had an IV in, and it was pretty traumatizing. It was traumatizing for us too, you know. So, you know, we might see some things happen. And we started last Tuesday. This is Monday, so it could be today or tomorrow that we see the peak of the clear. Yeah, we don't know what to expect. We do know that, you know, the last couple of days he's had a runny nose, he's got a cough, and so that cold that's been suppressed by the cold medications is starting to surface, and I'm pretty sure this is the rest of it. It's just being flushed out of the system. So, okay, so let's move on. I got a few things that I want to talk about, and I want to make this as quick as possible because I don't want to bore you. Okay, so the new remedies that she sent, one of them is Secretin. Now, when I read it, I had no idea what Secretin was, so I looked it up. And it turns out that Secretin is a natural occurrence within the body, and it helps with water absorption. And so I had to dig a little bit to find out, well, you know, because the secretin is for focus and attention. And I guess there's been some studies how it helps with children with autism. Now, if you look on Wikipedia, which is completely, you know, biased and unreliable, but it said that the studies were inconclusive. However, I found several websites where parents, you know, were singing its praises. So evidently secretin does work with, you know, children with autism. So it helps with focus, and it helps, you know, concentration, and it helps them, you know, I guess it just kind of clears the fog. He has to take that twice a day, and they came in pellet form. We have to keep them separate from the droppers, but, you know, we only do it like a half hour later, you know, maybe 45 minutes later, so that we're not overwhelming him, because we don't want to, like I say, he don't like it, so we don't want to overwhelm him. Another thing that she sent was a reducer of glutamate. If you look on my blog, I have, under dietary challenges and changes, I put an article in there about glutamate, what it is, and why she's targeting it, you know, so that's interesting. You want to look at that, you definitely want to look that up, because, you know, if she feels that it's necessary, you know, to reduce in his system, because that's another thing that's natural. Glutamate comes from food. We all have, you know, our body naturally has glutamate, but the foods that we eat actually increase it. So, and glutamate is monosulfate glutamate, which is MSG. And if you know what MSG is, then you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what MSG is, look it up. MSG is in a lot of the processed foods. It's, you know, kind of it's in soups. You know, it's what gives the beefy flavor of things, you know, so you want to look it up. And evidently, too much glutamate will intercept neurotransmitters, and, you know, it's certainly, you know, that gut-brain relationship, you know, it falls into that. So, you want to look that up. Another new remedy that we got is for OCD behaviors. And it's just called OCD Extra Light. I'm not sure what it is, but she said that it's supposed to help with a lot of the autistic behaviors of the flapping and the stimming, and OCD. You know, a lot of these kids have OCD, but, you know, everybody has OCD. everybody. You know, if you say you don't, then you don't know what OCD is. Okay, so moving forward. I had a lot of information thrown my way, you know, so I only want to bring up a couple of different things that I thought was interesting. A GCMAF is a chemical, a chemical that our body creates on its own. For healthy people, it'll fight off cancer cells. Well, people with a compromised immune system, they don't make enough of it, and so the cancer cells are able to thrive. Well, a doctor who is dead now, he started using it for autism, and I've had a couple of people, you know, I've had actually 2 or 3 people just in the last couple of days mention this to me, that they used it with their child with autism, and their child was removed from the spectrum, you know, and they're doing great, just diet changing, going all organic, you know, so in trying out, you know, different avenues, the alternative medicine, you know, has made a dramatic difference. So that's GCMAF, and, you know, definitely look that up. It's pretty interesting, because some of the studies that, you know, and you got to be careful where you look, because there's like negativity, you know, anything alternative medicine is taboo. So, you know, look it up. All right, so which brings me to what I really want to talk about. This is Autism Awareness Month, World Autism Awareness Month. So, like, the whole globe is taking this month to be aware that autism exists. Now, ironically, around the same time, a new Muppet came out in Sesame Street who has autism. And they're just really painting that all over media. And there's a new Power Rangers, and one of the Power Rangers has autism. You know, okay, so here's my thought, right? I think it's good that they're trying to help other kids and kids who are on the spectrum to accept the autism. Because, kids are confusing and kids can be cruel, so, okay. I think in that aspect it's good. Here's the thing. I am not going to celebrate autism. I'm not, okay? And then there's a lot of, this just play on words. People are saying celebrate autism awareness, I'll celebrate the awareness, okay? And not that there's new characters coming out with autism. The awareness of all those who are fighting for answers. I'll celebrate that, okay? People who are, spearheading the search for answers. Now, autism is depicted by a puzzle piece. If if you're on Twitter or if you're all over the internet, everything's anything that has to do with autism, it's a puzzle piece, and I dig that because every kid is different, so every puzzle piece is going to be different, and there's a lot of puzzle pieces that make up autism. And also they don't know, they say they don't know what causes it. They won't admit that vaccines have a role. They won't admit a lot of things. So here it is, Autism Awareness Month, and you have parents that are really supportive, and they're taking the lead in local schools, and they're taking the lead in support groups, and that's fantastic. I'm not gonna say that that's not good. I'm just saying that from my perspective, I'm gonna celebrate the research being done and parents speaking up, because it is a puzzle piece, and that I'll celebrate. I'm not going to celebrate autism. Why are they trying to normalize it? Why are they trying to say, well, it's happening, let's just embrace it? That's not an attitude that I'm ready to support. I'm not, okay? Because first of all, I'm going to give you my opinion. Here, I'm going to lay it out, all right? This is what I think. I mean, you don't have to agree with me. I don't care. You don't have to agree with me. This is what I believe, all right? When I was young, autism was Rain Man, who was Dustin Hoffman in Rain Man, right? If you haven't seen this movie, look it up. That was autism, all right? It was a mental illness to which there was no path back, okay? There was no path to normality, all right? Somewhere in the last 20 years, they have taken that definition of autism and applied it to developmental delay. What they're not saying is this is an epidemic, Now, when you talk to doctors, and I asked them, I asked the people that evaluated Leo and actually gave me the diagnosis that he was on the spectrum. I asked them, straight out, why the increase in autism? And her answer was, well, because the definition changed, and what they're considering to be autistic now, is all these developmental delays. Okay, so what they did is we're in an epidemic, okay? Babies are born, whether or not they get vaccinations, I don't think the vaccines help matters, to be honest, but they can't be the sole responsible either, because there are kids who have never been vaccinated who are on the spectrum, But there's something going on, that the increase of this developmental delay epidemic, okay? What they did is they gave it an old name. They gave it a name, autism, which is a name that has been around, for 100 years, 50 years, whatever. And it creates this illusion that it's always been, and it's, this is something that, they have their hands on, they know what they're doing, because it's always been. It's an illusion, all right? I call it autism because that's what everybody is calling it, all right? That's not what it is. I will never agree with that. Rain Man was autism. Okay, Albert Einstein was autism. You know, autism is genius in one area and mentally retarded in the rest. You know, that was what autism was years ago, and they changed the definition to include bipolar, ADHD. You know, they gave one Asperger's. You know, all the, you know, like I said, you don't have to agree with me, okay? But this is what I feel. They just conglomerated all of these, you know, disorders into one and called it autism. They're not addressing what's really happening. We're in an epidemic. These babies are being born with problems, with deficiencies. You know, their stomachs are hamburger. You know, and here's the thing. The whole time I was pregnant with Leo, I worked at Pizza Hut. Everything I ate was processed food. Everything. So even if I had never vaccinated Leo, you know, who's to say that he wouldn't still have all these problems? In fact, the day I brought him home from the hospital, we had to turn around and go right back. You know, because he was choking on something. This has been his whole life. I've been dealing with problem after problem after problem. Now, it could have been the vaccines. Why in the hell are they giving, you know, hepatitis B vaccines to babies when hepatitis B is sexually transmitted? Okay, so whatever. You know, I just that's a whole different ballgame right there. We're definitely going to address the vaccines later. Me and Martha have been discussing it, and she doesn't want to talk about it right now, but she is, you know, we'll get to that later. Speaking of Martha, she will be back with us again. I hope you enjoyed last week's video with the interview. She is so knowledgeable and so experienced, and I'm so blessed to have her in my life. Okay, so I just wanted to rant again a little bit about, because it's Autism Awareness Month, and I think that, you know, let's just be realistic. It's nothing to celebrate. It's absolutely nothing to celebrate. You know what we need to celebrate? We need to celebrate each other and support each other, because we're all on this train, you know, and it's not stalled. The train isn't stalled. Now, mainstream medicine and the media and everything, they want you to believe it is. Embrace it. It's just happening. Don't worry about it. They want you to believe it's stalled. It's not stalled. We're moving forward. We're finding out things. I'm listening to parents, all right? The doctors failed me. The specialists failed me. I'm listening to parents, you know, and these parents are saying, hey, you know, all I did was this, and then my son started talking. So that's what Autism Awareness Month is for me. I'm aware. My son has autism. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up. Check out my blog. I'm going to have some more on Secretin in the blog for this month. I'm also going to, you know, I'm going to include a few other things. You know, the blog and the video go hand in hand. I kind of repeat myself in the blog than I do in the video, but there are a lot of things that I don't talk about on either. So it's like, if I speak about it on the blog, I probably didn't mention it in the video, and vice versa. Okay, so I want to mention a few because this is all about supporting. That's the motto of my channel is, I'll support your journey if you support mine. So here I'm going to support some journeys. Alright, and the first one I want to mention is Booty Baby Blogs. I'm going to put a link in the description below for Booty Baby Blogs, and this is a blog that, it's a Facebook page, and if you do not fall in love with this boy, there's something wrong with you. He is an absolute doll, and he has been, we're all on a train. This boy, his whole life has been, you know, moving so fast, so you'll want to check him out. He is a sweet, sweet little boy. Another one is Mummy But Still Me, and that is a blog. She has recipes and stuff on her website. It's actually a really good website. You'll want to spend some time reading it. It is really a nice read. It's very well put together. She is very real, very genuine, and I think you'll really enjoy reading her website. Another one is John Rubin, and his website is The Journey of Sawyer, and oh my gosh, that boy is so cute. Oh my gosh, that you got to visit that website. Again, the description will be below. Also on the blog, I added a section on the right hand side, honorable follows for Twitter, and supporting each other, and all of these websites are there too, so definitely not going to leave them hanging. Definitely check out that Journey of Sawyer. It's sweet. It's so sweet. I just fell in love when I read it. It's so sweet. Okay, and we definitely never want to forget our buddy Malachi. Remember last week I mentioned 4 Paws for Malachi? That link's going to be in the description and on the blog. We're trying to get him his puppy. He needs a special needs dog. And so they're trying to raise money through this organization called 4 Paws. And these dogs are very special, and Malachi needs one. And Malachi's so cute. Oh my gosh. And he's such a sweet guy. You gotta read his stuff. Get him this dog. If anything, just spread the word. If you can, like I said, in last week, if you can't donate, at least spread the word. Support this guy. You also want to read Life with Victoria. She is a prolific writer, and she has got a great blog. It's through the eyes of somebody on the spectrum. So don't forget about Victoria. That link is there too. And I think that's pretty much it. There is, oh yes, I got another website, Stephen Kellogg, and I'm going to put that in the description. He's a 20-year-old nonverbal on the spectrum, and he lives with his dad, and this boy is amazing. I see him all the time on, well, I don't see him, I see his father all the time on a network, a social network for parents with autism children, and he just lights up. He lights it up when he talks about his son. And he's such a good story. So you want to check out his website too. So okay, all of these are going to be on the blog. They're also going to be in the description below. Please support these people. That's what it's all about. We need to support each other. It's Autism Awareness Month. Let's be aware of each other, because that's what it's all about. Okay, so that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about, I think. I guess I got notes. I'm old. Alright, leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe. This is a great channel. Pass it on to your friends. If you have any opinion, you have suggestions, recommendations, leave them in the comments below. Leave them on the blog. My email's on the blog. I am available around the clock. Let me know, okay? Alright, thank you guys. Please subscribe, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.